This is Season 4 of Southpaw Deep Space 9. Season 5 will be released on the Southpaw Pod Patreon. This episode was recorded on August 22nd, 2024. We are back with Southpaw Deep Space 9 Season 4. If you don't know what SDS9 is, it's Southpaw's completionist DS9 watch-along show where we watch every episode, recap it, and analyze it. We are your hosts, Scott and Sam. Today, we are discussing Shattered Mirror. Scott, can you recap this episode?
On the promenade, on the upper deck, we see Jake in his usual spot. Odo walks by. Jake is thinking that Odo is going to tell him to leave, as he would do all the time when him and Nog would hang around. And Odo's like, "Oh, that was just me being Ferengi racist. I was always just trying to look for Nog." Jake downplays missing Nog, but Quark shows up and points out that Nog leaving screwed everyone over. Jake doesn't have a friend. He doesn't have a worker. What are they going to do with the money? And Jake's like, I gotta go. I can't deal with this. When Jake goes to his quarters, he is stunned to see that Ben, his dad, is sitting with what appears to be Jennifer Sisko, his long dead mother. Died before the show started. But we, the viewers, know that this is probably Menifer. I'm not ever going to say that again. Mirror Jennifer. Ben explains that the woman here is Mirror Jennifer and explains the mirror universe. We met her not that long ago. There have been a few mirror episodes on Deep Space Nine thus far. And Jake sort of accepts it all really quickly and is like, okay, do you want to hang out, Mirror Jennifer? And she's like, sure, okay. Mirror Jennifer is there to tell Ben that the mirror world is doing better. The rebels have Tarek Noor. The war is slightly in their favor. And sort of thanks to him in a way. Jake and Mirror Jennifer decide they're going to go hang out. And there's this moment where Jake touches Mirror Jennifer's hands and he's just like, I never thought I was going to touch these hands again. And it's very emotional. And Ben goes and has a 3-hour meeting and leaves the meeting because he has to go, and he goes to look for Jake and Mirror Jenny, and they are not only not in his room, they're not in the station, but he finds this kind of transporter doohickey. So Ben is going to go to the mirror universe, and Miles and Kara offer to go. However, when they warp and energize, only Ben warps in, and Smiley, who is Mirror Miles, welcomes Ben and says that Jake is safe and no one is going anywhere, and Ben is disarmed by force. Smiley tells Ben that they built a replica of the USS Defiant using the stolen schematics and information. There are structural issues, and they need Ben's help. They're going to have a battle with the Alliance pretty soon, and Ben's like, repairs would take weeks. And Smiley's like, you don't have 2 weeks. The Alliance is coming in 4 days. Smiley warns Ben that without his help, they are going to die. They're going to get captured. But they're not going to do anything to Jake. he's safe. Mirror Bashir shows up and demands Ben have a decision, and Smiley says Ben is gonna help. Mirror Bashir punches Ben in the face in retaliation for a punch that happened in a previous episode. Ben later finds Jake with Mirror Jennifer at Quark's, and Jake just admits that he is really enjoying spending time with Mirror Mom, and he feels good to talk about his life and be around her, and he feels a connection. He knows that it's not his mom, she's not his mom, but he likes it. And why can't we have a little bit of happiness as a treat from time to time, even it's confusing and crosses dimensions? But Ben warns Jake that this is not his mom, and she's very different. She's lived a whole different life. And their marriage, the Mirror marriage, did not go so well. I mean, Mirror Ben, not a very nice guy. Jake even suggests Mirror Jennifer and Ben maybe like going on a date or something, and Ben just rolls his eyes. Confronting Jennifer, Ben agrees that he will help, and is pretty frustrated that Mirror Jennifer manipulated Jake's mom stuff to get Ben into the universe to help. And Ben's like, Mirror Jennifer, just leave Jake alone, and it's unsuccessful. Jake just wants to hang out and make food and stuff. Meanwhile, Regent Mirror Worf is getting ready to attack. Mirror Garrick is on there, and he's blaming him for the loss of Tarek Noor. And he's like, you're going to fight, but you're going to be chained, and we're going to defeat the rebels. And like Mirror Worf is just like kind of mean. Not actually that different from regular Worf. We can talk about the problems of the Mirror universe later. On the Defiance Bridge, Ben is working with Smiley. Mirror Jadzia storms in. She is still furious about previously when Ben had sex with Mirror Jadzia under false pretenses, which is problematic. Sorry. They hear a scream from the station. Bashir is torturing Mirror Kira, who is the intendant. And Ben is like totally condemning Bashir's cruelty. But like, we know Mirror Kira, she kind of enjoys it. She's like, I like a little pain. You got to turn this up if you're going to hurt me. And Ben tries to explain the difference between torture and interrogation. And we could argue whether there really is a difference. And Mirror Kira comments on Ben's skills and asks for help escaping, but she's taken away.
A note to our listeners. If you love the Southpaw Project, please support us and help us get paid for our labor by financially supporting us on Patreon. This will give you access to exclusive bonus content, like early releases of Southpaw Deep Space Nine, our fictional narrative podcast, Fighters Brew, break-free versions of our shows without interruptions like you're hearing now, bonus articles, Fighters Brew transcripts with extra content, Liberation Martial Arts Online, as well as our private chat group on Discord. You can also make one-time donations at Ko-Fi or show your solidarity by wearing our swag. You can find all pertinent links at southpawpod.com.
The Alliance learns about the Defiant, and Mirror Worf is increasingly frustrated with how much work that he has to do. And Mirror Garrick tries to suggest an idea, and Mirror Worf dismisses it. And then there's like strange sexual tension. It's a weird episode, dude. At Ben's quarters, Jennifer and Jake are having dinner. Jake is making chicken a la Sisko. As we know, the Siskos in our universe love to cook. It's something they love. No replicator, never. Ben says, look, we need to rest. We need to get ready we got a lot going on. Jake offers to clean. Mira Jennifer reassures Ben and really expresses how much that she enjoys spending this time with Jake. She starts to see him as the son that she never had. She gets a little sad, a little wistful, and congratulates Ben on being a good father, and notes that she couldn't have expected this sort of thing in her world. Smiley informs them that the Alliance is coming in a few hours, 8 hours to be exact, and pandemonium ensues. Mir Jadzia suggests that they stall for time, and Mir Bashir offer to buy extra time with raiders and like weird espionage, like shadow ghost ships and stuff. Ben is doubtful that this will work, and Ben goes to talk to Mir Kira, wants to get information on the Alliance fleet. She laughs and is like trying to not help, and Ben is like, bro, like, you should help me. You know that Garrick has probably blamed you for Tarek Noor's loss, and you are in danger. And she notes this and finally reveals that the ship's targeting sensors can be fooled by warp shadows after an attempt to lower the force field fails. And also, like, Mirakira still has the hots for Ben, and because her and Mira Ben had a messed up relationship that definitely had power imbalances. Some weird power balance stuff going on. Meanwhile, Worf is going to punish Garrick for taking keys. Garrick insists he didn't and that it would be useless. What would he do with the key? Worf stabs Garrick and doesn't kill him. The key is later found by a Klingon guard, and Worf orders the guard to keep Mir Garrick alive. But as Garrick is being escorted away, Worf learns that 6 rebel raiders are approaching. They're false signals, but the birds of prey attack only for their disruptor blasts to be diverted. Strategery. Mira Jennifer finds Ben working in a Jeffries tube, tries to offer help. She tells Ben that Jake now knows her true intentions. She explained to him what was going on. Jake expressed that he still values her because she reminds him of his mother. Mira Jennifer expresses sadness that no one thinks of her with love and adoration on this world. Mira Jennifer offers to send Jake back to Deep Space Nine, trusting Ben and Smiley to finish the mission, and Jake's no longer needed. Ben agrees, and then Jennifer's like, what about this connection? And Ben's like, maybe there never was a real connection. Jake is perched upon the mirror version of his promenade spot. He's interrupted by Mira Nog, who angrily insists that he leaves. Jake is amused by this, and Mira Nog is very serious. Mira Jennifer arrives to take Jake. Mira Kira flirts with the prison guard, who reveals that Kira killed his wife, and she's like, oh, well, that means you're single. I mean, woof, that's dark. Mira Nog frees Mira Kira as a thank you because previously she killed Mira Quark and Mira Ram because they were freedom fighters in this universe. And so that's why Nog has his bar, Mira Nog. The birds of prey attack. Smiley, who's like becoming a little bit nicer, is going to let Ben leave, but Ben takes command and Smiley's into it. So Mira Kira is planning to go to Bajor, so she kills Mira Nog. And before Kira reaches the airlock, she intercepts Mira Jennifer and Jake. Evidence. Doesn't want to leave any evidence. No trail. Ben teaches Smiley cool maneuvers, and they have a firefight on the Mira Defendant, and it's just awesome. Meanwhile, Mira Kira plans to deliver Mira Jennifer as a gift to the Regent to get back in good with their graces and all that. Mira Jennifer insists that they just let she leaves Jake alone, and this piques sort of Kira's interest. So Kira plays a game, pretends to agree, but then tries to shoot Jake, but Mira Jennifer gets in front of the blast, and she's confused as to why this would happen. And Kira is like going to kill Jake, but once she realizes that he's Sisko's son, she wants Ben Sisko to owe her a favor. So she's like, I saved your son, you owe me one. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. The Defiant faces the region's flagship. Ben decides to actually pilot himself. Smiley's really cool with it. Obviously, he skillfully maneuvers, and then he gets close to the flagship. It causes significant damage, and it makes targeting difficult. The Regent orders the destruction of the Defiant, but another bird of prey arrives, but it's attacked by a raider that has returned. Mirror Bashir and Mirror Dax try to get excited, but Ben directs them to focus on the damaged forward shield. Mirror Garrick persuades Worf to retreat, and Worf realizes that the Intendant is responsible for the loss, and Garrick eagerly plans to kill her himself. After the battle, Ben finds Jake at the infirmary. He's with Mira Jennifer. She's critically injured. With her last breath, Jennifer tells Sisko she knew they were still connected, to which he replies, always. Ben and Jake share a very meaningful, heartfelt hug, and Ben suggests that they go home.
So I only wrote down one note while watching this episode.
Huh.
It was a statement made by Miradax about how Sisko had sex with her under false pretenses, which you mentioned. If true, that's sexual assault. If you love the Southpaw Project, become one of our financial supporters. It'll help us supplement the cost of running this project, the incredible time and energy we put into it 7 days a week, and you'll be giving us some breathing room, not only to juggle Southpaw with our day jobs, but also to expand Southpaw into other areas. We can't exist without your contributions. Show your Southpaw solidarity by supporting us at southpawpod.com. A famous example of this is the movie Revenge of the Nerds, where the main character pretends to be someone else to have sex with a woman he likes. And now it's more understood how bad those movies are and how they perpetuate sexual assault culture.
Yeah, I loved that movie growing up, and then I became an adult and someone was like, that Darth Vader scene is sexual assault. And I was like, oh shit, fuck that movie.
Yeah, because at the surface level, based on stereotypes, Revenge of the Nerds sounds like an underdog story. And then you realize, oh, like these tech billionaires who are libertarian, like not good people. Yeah, they're not the underdogs that we thought they were. And they also are very often very bad people, especially when they're billionaires. So with that said, having watched the previous Mirror episodes, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that Mirror Dax just got the timelines wrong, and that was Mirror Sisko she slept with, not the real Sisko, because she might not know when the real Sisko took Mirror Sisko's place, and she might not know when Mirror Sisko actually died. I'm just hoping it's just edgy writing that didn't age well, and Sisko just went with the misunderstanding because he was being edgy for this episode, because Mirror episodes just try to be edgy, oftentimes for no reason. But why I have to bring this up is because back then, and even for a lot of people today, they might not understand using coercion or manipulation or false pretenses to sleep with someone is not consent, but still a violation. I think a lot of media thinks it's cute when men so-called trick women into sleeping with them, and that's what men are supposed to do, or that's just men being men or boys being boys. But tricking someone for sex is still assault. lawmakers, including liberal lawmakers, still don't understand this because you'll have cops sleep with sex workers under false pretenses.
No, but that is literally what happened.
What?
So in Through the Looking Glass, Sisko has sex with Jadzia when she thinks that he's other Sisko.
Oh.
He goes with it because he's undercover.
Oh. Just like a vice cop.
Right. And I remembered it being weird when we did it, because I'm like, wait, like, so you just wanted to have sex with your best friend.
Ay, ay, ay.
Which is fine. If friends want to have sex with each other, it's cool as long as it's consensual.
Ay, ay, ay. I blocked it out. So then it's just like how it is today, and especially with even like liberal lawmakers, they still don't understand or care about consent or false pretenses when it comes with cops sleeping with sex workers under false pretenses, or vice cops sleeping with whoever while they're undercover. And rather than these cops being arrested for assault, it's the sex workers or whoever is being investigated, or people involved in whatever investigation, quote unquote investigation, are the ones who can get in trouble. Undercover cops in general have a whole other set of ethical wrongs because the whole thing is false pretenses. So especially for men, despite what mainstream society tries to condition you to believe, no, it is not the goal to trick people into sex. And secondly, having sex is not what defines you as a man. I think I've mentioned in a previous episode, even about Jake, underage, dating a Dabo girl, quote unquote girl. It was actually a woman who's well into her 20s. And I had asked a friend who had worked on Star Trek and knew some of the DS9 writers. And I said, what was that about? And he said, because that is supposed to tell you Jake is the man. Like, it is desirable and a sign of status for an underage boy, right? It's not even a man, a boy, to have sex with an older woman. Consent or grooming or sexual assault or not. So DS9 writers are not above that. So maybe this episode is another example of like being like, oh man, Ben Sisko is the man. Look what he did. He has that in him. You thought he was a nerdy dork. No, he's a Casanova. He's a player. And it's like, no, dude, like assault is not cool. It's not good. Yeah. So now I have to revise my opinions about him. But the mirror universe is all about sex as power, which is how it's also seen in our misogynist reality, that more sex means more power. That has got to change. But outside of this one observation and commentary, you know, I don't have much else. Mirror World doesn't even seem to have consistency for me, or even interesting characters I care about, yet the world is very uncomfortable and problematic. I watched this just thinking, why are we back here? Why should I care about any of this? So Scott, enlighten me. Why are we back here? Why should I care about this? Is this a good episode?
So it's not a good episode. And you should only care because this is not the last Mirror episode.
Oh, God. How do you put this right after Hard Time, right?
I know.
You had this like incredibly serious, like heavy episode with some incredible acting by Cole Meany. Kudos to him. And then how do you follow that up with this?
So I'm going to argue that the only show that I've seen that really has captured Mirror Universe well is Star Trek Discovery.
So eventually they figure it out.
Yeah. They understood that it's not just like opposite. There's just like a whole lot. It's just a different vibe. And I just think that they got the Mirror Universe wrong on Deep Space Nine. So every Deep Space Nine Mirror episode is just not that interesting to me.
Now, when did Discovery come out?
Like 6 years ago.
Okay, so it took a while for them to figure out how to really flesh out this world. Because that seems like at the crux of this is they didn't really like world build this well.
No, it makes no sense. And it's going to continue to not make sense. And eventually it's going to get really annoying. Sorry, dude.
Because so many of the main characters are now dead. So like, who's left to even care about? What stories are? Okay, I guess when I get to it, I'll have to get to it and watch it and see how I feel about it.
Yeah. I give this episode a 3.
Okay. Scott, can you tell us about the next episode?
Odo and Lwaxana Troy.
Oh, she's back.
Yep.
Until then.